Hey guys, Justin here from TheSketchUpEssentials.com. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put out two different versions of this video, and both of them will have this intro. But basically, I just kind of took a video where I was modeling and working on something, and I have one version where I'm going to be talking kind of through what I'm doing as I do it. I'm going to have the other version where I just kind of speed it up, and I've got some kind of like classical music in the background. And basically, I'm just going to see which one gets more likes and which one people enjoy more, and maybe kind of use that format for some stuff moving forward. So please take a second, check this video out, check the other one out, and if you wouldn't mind clicking like on the one that you like the best, I'd really appreciate it. It'd really help me figure out what I want to do next with SketchUp, and just kind of how this channel is going to look moving forward. So thanks a lot for watching, and I appreciate it. Let's get started. What's up guys, Justin here from TheSketchUpEssentials.com. So I guess I'm going to try something new, and I'm just going to model something, and maybe I'll talk while I'm going, maybe I won't. I don't really know. I want to try some stuff out and just try to make this channel a little bit more interesting. I feel like a lot of the stuff I do with SketchUp has already kind of been done, and I really want this to be interesting and also helpful and all of that. So I think I'm just going to roll with this and kind of see where it goes. I don't even know if I'm going to use the video or the audio or anything, but sometimes it's just fun to kind of pick a picture from somewhere and just kind of model it. So that's what I'm going to do right here. So what I've done is I just pulled an image down off of I think this one came off of Pinterest, but I just picked something I kind of liked. I got this kind of stairwell here, this fancy stair with the fancy door and all that. So I'm just going to model it. So anyway, you may hear dogs barking in the background. For some reason, my puppy is barking at the other dogs and all of that. So it's going to be exciting. Let's see where it goes. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of approximate the size of this thing. And I don't think you necessarily need to do this, but it's just kind of the way that my brain works. You know, for me to do something like this, it needs to have some kind of scale in the real world. And I think a lot of people just kind of draw, and they're probably a lot better at this than I am just because of that. But, you know, just kind of look in this. I mean, I generally assume 6 inches up, 12 inches back on stairs. So based off that, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. You got 4 steps, and then you're landing. And then over here you've got something like 15 steps. So I can basically assume that from here to here is going to be about 4 feet. From here to here is going to be about 15 feet. And then we can kind of go from there using the door frame, and everything else is kind of an approximation. So let's kind of dig into this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and just start modeling. So, you know, I'm going to assume, I don't know, 8 feet wide for the hallway. You know, I got another 4 feet for the stair, probably another 3 feet for the landing. So, and I'm just going to kind of draw this as a little bit of a floor plan, and then I'll extrude everything up. So I'm going to go 15 feet this way, figure another 3, let's figure probably 5 feet for that opening right there, plus a foot or 2 on the other side. So, you know, 7 feet wide, something like that. So that'll give me my back wall. And then again, kind of same width over here. And there we go. So now I've kind of got my floor plan, and I'm just kind of roughing everything out right now. So, you know, it seems to want to do this way. So we'll just kind of rotate this guy just so we've got kind of the same orientation. But now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to figure these steps are 3 feet wide again. So I'm just going to rough out the floor plate of my my stairwell right here, just to assume everything kind of looks all right. And then I'll go ahead and figure 1 foot. 1 foot. So this will be my entrance or my opening right here. Figure 18 inches right here. Figure 3 foot and 3 foot door leaf, so 6 feet wide. And yeah, we're good to go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and split this into, I'm going to use divide, and I'm going to split this into 1, 2, 3, 4 different sections. Like this. And this is a real easy way to come in here and build some stairs. You just split this into a certain number of sections, and what we're going to do is we're just going to extrude each one of them up about 6 inches. So for this one, figure 15 segments, and what we're going to do here is I'll just take this line, just copy it, hit X times 14. That'll split this into that number of steps. So now we're going to take this thing and we're just going to start extruding everything up. And there may be a faster way to do this, but I don't mind doing it this way, so we're going to do it this way. But I'm figuring every step goes up about 6 inches. So we're just using the push-pull to kind of extrude everything up like this. So another 6 inches here. I'll probably just speed this up as we go, but so far loving it. And the up on these steps may not even be 6 inches, so I'm hoping that everything kind of looks okay when I'm done with this. So in the meantime, while I'm doing this, if you guys wouldn't mind liking this video down below, I'd really appreciate it. That always really helps me out with YouTube. But also, I'd really like to see some comments and just kind of hear what you guys want to learn about, because I really want to make this interesting. I don't want to just do the same old thing that everybody else is doing. I kind of want if anything, those may be a little bit too tall. But you know what we can do, I think. What we can do is come in here and just shrink these guys down a bit. I'm going to unselect this piece right here, but all I'm going to do at this point is I'm just coming through and I'm just selecting all of these pieces right here, and then I'm just going to use the scale tool. Oops. I'll select this right here. All you're going to do is select the tops of these stairs and just kind of scale them down by about, let's do 0.75. I kind of like the way that that looks. And a lot of this is eyeballing unless you're really drawing something to scale, but here we go. So we kind of shrank those guys down. Now we're going to go ahead and push this up here, and then we're going to figure probably 8 foot high. Whoa. You know what? Maybe our scale was about right. Let's undo all of that. We'll push this guy up. Figure this to be about 8 foot high. And I think this is the problem with doing this way. Is sometimes you try to do everything by scale and then it doesn't work right or whatever. This may actually work out okay though. So all I'm going to do is, now that I've got my stairs figured right here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this down about 6 inches below. All I'm doing is I'm coming in here and just trying to create this little detailing piece right here. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to take this and push it out just a little bit, maybe like 2 inches, just to give it this kind of like overhang look. Then I'm going to come in here and erase all of these because I don't need these anymore. I'm going to go ahead and reverse all my faces as well, just to make everything look more white. So again, I'm sorry in advance if this is super boring to you, but I just figured I'd try something new. And you know, once in a while you just ought to just find something that you kind of like and model it. You know, just take an hour or two and just sit here and model. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this down about 1 foot, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw half of this main door like this, and then there we go, we'll kind of arc this guy right here. What I'm going to do after I do that is I'll just mirror it over here to this other side so I don't have to model it twice. So that's a real good shortcut for what we're trying to do here. So now I can come in here and erase this. And let me see, I just really kind of want these two pieces, and I want to offset them down here just a bit to create this kind of glass piece. So I don't know, what do you think? Probably 6 inches. So once I offset that, then I can come down here and kind of detail out. I can kind of detail out my glass and glazing. So let's see, I'll come straight down here and then figure there's probably, let's see, let's say 2'6" of wood down below. So now we're going to turn this into glass, and the way we're going to do that is we're going to take the midpoint of this and take it all the way up like that until we, gracious, there we go. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to come all the way up to where it meets this line on the blue axis so that it intersects, and it should have split those two into 2 pieces, which it did. And then if you look at our image, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 panes. So you're just going to come in here and you're going to divide this into 4 segments. There you go, just like that. Now you can come in here and you can split this into different pieces. And then let's see, what I'm going to go ahead and do, and maybe I should have done this already, is I'm just going to take this and I'm going to move it. I'm going to make a copy of it using the move tool, probably 1/8 of an inch this way, and then 1/4 of an inch this way. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create this little wood retainer piece right here. So once I've kind of done that, I can come in here and erase this middle line because I don't need that anymore. You know what, and honestly, I'm actually going to come back and I'm just going to use offset to do this. So we'll offset it 1/8 of an inch. We'll offset all of these 1/8 of an inch. Remember, the keyboard shortcut for offset is the F key, so just tap the F key. And remember, that doesn't work as well if you have faces selected, but we're going to tap the F key right here. We're going to type in 1/8 of an inch, and we're going to do that for each one of these. So, and again, I apologize if you don't really enjoy just sitting here listening to me talk. I may speed this up so it's a little faster to watch, but I find when I'm watching SketchUp videos online, it just kind of helps me to watch what other people are doing, because I really kind of learn a little bit better when that happens. So I just like to watch the way that other people model, because I learn a whole bunch of new tricks that way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come in here and let's see, I'm going to go ahead and take all of these lines all the way to the edge here, because if you look at my image, really you've only got this stuff on the interior. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this guy up. We're going to do that a couple more times. I'm going to move this up here. And then what you can do once you've done that is come in here and erase these lines. You can erase the center lines like this, because you don't need those anymore. Because really what you want is you just want your wood divider panels to go all the way to the edge, is what you're looking for. All right, so in hindsight, there was probably a better way to do that as well, but that's okay. So that's kind of the thing about modeling in SketchUp is everybody's at a different level, and sometimes you do things, they may not be the absolute fastest way that you could do stuff, but that's okay. I mean, I'm way faster at modeling now than I was when I first started. So if you're getting a little bit frustrated, you know, if you look on the internet and you see, man, there's all these people that are just really good at modeling, you know, don't worry about it. You just kind of pick up tricks and learn as you go. For the longest time, I had no idea how components worked or anything like that, and I wasted a ton of time just using modeling practices that maybe weren't the best, but I just kind of kept at it. So you should do the same thing. Just keep learning, keep getting better, and don't worry about doing everything perfectly or anything like that. So I'm just gonna finish off this right here. This right here. Really don't need that either. I don't need these. So, and what I'm doing is just kind of going in here and cleaning up all the stuff that I don't need anymore. And now that I've done that, I'm just going to go ahead and you see this door right here, we're going to erase it. And what we're going to do is we're going to select everything in here. I always find making it a group first is faster, but then we're going to make it a component. And what I've started doing recently is using the outliner to kind of label everything, because it really helps me keep everything organized in my model. So in this case, we're going to create a component and we're going to call it front door. And the nice thing about having a component called front door is you can use the move tool, make a copy of it like this, and now whatever you do on the left one also happens on the right one because they're copies of the same component. So yeah, that's a real fast way to basically cut your workload in half, which is great. Anything you can do to spend less time modeling is really really something that you should do, because you can waste a lot of time doing work that you don't need to do. So your mindset in SketchUp should always kind of be not to do as little as possible, but to waste as much or as little energy as possible. So now I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to detail out. Here's a reminder of what this looks like. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to detail out the bottom of my door. So I'm just going to come in here, figure, these are probably 6 inches deep. Run this way. These look a little taller, so maybe 8 inches. And we're going to go ahead and push these out. Probably, first of all, I'm going to reverse the faces again. So just so you know, everything in SketchUp has two different sides. There's a front side and a back side. And generally things that are kind of this gray color are the back side, and things that are white are the front side. And usually it's not that big of a deal until you get into like rendering and stuff like that. But if you can, just try to model things so that the white side is facing towards you. So let's see, bring these out 1.5. And basically what we're doing is, you figure if they build this door, they're probably doing it using some kind of 2x type wood. Not necessarily like a dimensional framing lumber, but they're using some kind of wood. So you can assume that these are going to be approximately that size. Oops. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase these guys, and I'm just going to give these pieces right here just a little bit of depth, probably 1/4 inch. Just something to give them a little depth compared to the glass that's going to be sitting right here. So, and then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to divide this 5 inches, 4 inches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. let's say 5 segments. And we're just going to detail these guys out like this. And again, remember, using the move, interesting. All right, remember that using the move tool and using the multiples of the move tool to create copies is really going to be a huge time saver for you. So just remember that when you do this, you select this, you activate move, you tap that control key, and you click, and that sets your spacing. And then if I type in ×3, what it means is I'm actually creating 3 copies instead of just the 1 right here. So anyway, we may give this a little depth later, but let's go ahead and leave it. So I think this door is probably looking about the way that we want it to. We can come back and put a latch on it later. So now let's go through and work on some other stuff. And again, you guys may be fast forwarding through this and just kind of looking at real quick ways that things are getting modeled and stuff like that. And that's totally okay. So no big deal. When you're watching videos like this, just come in, learn what you need to learn, and go from there. So let's see. So everybody say hi to Bonnie. This is Bonnie. She's kind of helping me with this stuff. Murphy may run in and crash into some things and run back out. But yeah, let's go ahead and keep working on this thing. So we've got the front door modeled right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and group these. I just like to keep my model organized. So front doors. And you know, that a little later on, what that's going to mean is it's going to be a lot easier to like move some stuff around or do whatever it is we need to do. If you don't group things, then you may run into what I think I'm probably going to run into with the stair, which is it gets really hard to change things after the fact. So yeah. Anyway, so now what we're going to do is we're going to model our stair treads. And again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use components to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call these stair tread. And what we're going to do is we're going to model one first. And 3/8 of an inch is fine, I think, for right now. We want to have a little bit of overhang, maybe an inch. You know what, let's go ahead and push this up a little thicker. There we go. So now we're going to come in here and do the same thing over here. Got to be inside our component. But basically, now that we've modeled one of these, we're going to come back and we're going to use this on all of our other steps as well. And all we're going to do is we're going to use this as our base point. And we're going to do a ×3 right there, which is great. That copied all these up here. Now we're going to do the same kind of thing. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a copy of this. I'm going to move it up. And I'm going to rotate it like this. And hopefully, oh man, it didn't happen. All right, so all we're going to do, we're just going to kind of cheat on this thing a little bit, is we're going to move this back to this front face. We're going to move it down. And remember, we had an inch overhang. So we're going to go ahead and actually we're going to make this unique, because if you remember what we did over here is we pushed this out to get this piece of detailing. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this here so that's lined up to the back wall. And we're going to right click and click make unique. And you see how this changed to group number 4. We're just going to go ahead and call this, we'll call it high stair treads. So just something a little different than what's down here. And the reason we had to do that is because these are a little bit wider, just because the way that I detailed this, right or wrong, that's just kind of the way it is. In fact, let's not do that at all. Instead, what we'll do is I will push this back to right here, and we'll just push the wall in a little bit later. That'll be easier. So anyway, that actually lines up perfect now. So what we're going to do is we'll just create another copy. Times 5, times 10, times 12, 14. There we go. All right, so now we've got all of our stair treads up here except the one which I moved instead of creating a copy of. So there we go. All right, so, and just so I can get a little bit of consistency on this thing, let's measure our thickness. Sitting at 9/16. Interesting. All right, so I'm gonna use push-pull to put the wood cap on top of this as well, but instead of just clicking the P key and then clicking and dragging this up, you're gonna hit the control key. And what the control key does is it toggles create new face mode. And so all that means is it took this stair tread, and instead of pushing the whole face up and down, it starts a new face moving up and down. So you see how it keeps the line right here. So we're just going to make this the same. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to give it a little bit of overhang on each side. So push, we'll give it an inch here, there we go. All right, so all right, so again, like to keep everything organized, so I'm just going to select all these in the outliner, click make group, and call it stair treads. And you know what, I kind of want to put this in there as well. So what we're gonna do is we'll just select this face right here, we'll make it a group, and we can call it stair landing. And you don't really need to be this organized with your models, I don't think, but it really kind of helps me out. We're just going to move it into the stair treads group. So now you see it shows up in this group. So this is a tool I haven't used nearly enough modeling, and I recommend that you use the outliner to keep everything organized, because it can save you a lot of time in the long run. So anyway, we've got our stair treads done. So now what I want to do is detail out these vertical posts. What's the word? Banisters? I'm over here Googling the definition of the word. So let's see. I think they're banisters. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and work on these guys. So what I want to do is I want to come in here and let's go ahead and model this off to the side. So we're going to go ahead and model these guys. I'm just going to model them off to the side and then move them in and adjust them as I need to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go ahead and make this a floor group. Just so that things don't merge and make things difficult for us later. So I'm figuring those are probably, let's see, if I do a 4x4, that feels a little small. Let's go ahead and make it a 6x6 banister. And remember, these are all kind of the same object, so we're just going to model it once. And then once we've modeled it once, we'll come in here, we'll make it a component, and we'll just copy that component. So it'll save us a bunch of time. So we're just going to push this thing up, figure, let's say it raises up about 6 inches above our tread. And I'm going to go ahead and make these component as well. I think I got something in there that I didn't want. So you got to be careful what you select when you do that. So we'll go back this way instead and double check. There we go. So we're going to group this. Good gracious, I still picked something up that I didn't want. Let's go straight up and down like this. There we go. So we'll make this a group, and then we'll make it a component, and then there we go. So we're going to call this banister. And again, I'm hoping I'm even using the right word for that. But anyway, if you take a look at this, the thing about this is it's just a square, and then a smaller square, and then it's got some kind of trim work around it. So we've got our base square figured out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use offset to figure our higher, taller piece. So figure that's probably an inch smaller. Oof, not even. Let's say maybe a 1/2 inch. 1/12 of an inch is definitely not right. So we'll do a 1/2 inch right here, and then we'll go ahead and push this up. And I'm just kind of eyeballing it, but I figure you're probably looking at, let's say, another 3 feet. Up here, that feels about right. So now you've got this banister in here, you've got the second tall part. Now we're going to come in here and we're going to do an offset to create this kind of cap. So figure, sure, 3/4 of an inch sounds fantastic. And we'll push this up about 1 inch. I'm going to go ahead and fill this guy in here. Then we'll erase this. Actually, you know what? We won't erase this because this is going to create the tall cap. So we'll go another inch right here. So now all we got to do, and you don't necessarily need to do this, but I want to go ahead and do it because I feel like it, is I'm going to go ahead and create the trim on this. So what we're going to do for the trim is we're just going to use the follow me tool. So what you're going to do is you're going to build the profile of the little base piece that you want. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to use the follow me tool to extrude this. So, dang it. I'm going to hide this. So what you're going to do is you're going to get in here, you're going to double click to select all the lines in here, you're going to unselect the face, and then what you're going to do, and actually you don't want this line, but what you're going to do is you're going to, once you've selected your path, you're going to click the follow me tool, click right here, and as you can see, it mostly did what we wanted, which is sweet. So maybe we'll just do this way. So we're going to select our path, click on this face, and SketchUp's going to tell us absolutely not. We don't want to do that. Perfect. All right, well, what we'll do instead is maybe we'll just come over here and do this. So 0.5, 0.5, and then probably right here. There. Now we've got our profile. So now we're going to give it the path to follow like we tried to do before. You're going to click the follow me tool and bam. All right, now you've got this cool little base piece right here. And we're actually going to do the same thing up here just with a smaller piece. So because it kind of looks like there's a smaller piece. All right, so again, I'm just kind of picking like the 3/4-ish point. It doesn't have to be perfect. And we're going to select this, 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 and this. And all we're doing is we're just giving it a path to extrude this face along. So I'm going to go ahead and click the extrude tool, and there you go. We've got our fancy little base piece right here. So it feels like we're pretty close to what's shown in this image. It doesn't have to be exact. Don't get too caught up in being exact, and I can tell you that because I've spent way too much time trying to be too precise on things that don't matter in SketchUp. But anyway, so now we've got our banister right here. Let's go ahead and create a copy and move it over here and see if we drew it too big or not. I think we're probably okay. We may end up coming back and shrinking it down a little bit later. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end this here. More to come, but my dog really seems like he has to go out to the restroom, so we're going to take a little break, and I'll catch you a little bit later. So if you wouldn't mind leaving a like down below, I'd appreciate it, and let me know if this is a format you like, if I'm sitting here talking too much, if this is something that you're really into or not. It really helps me out. Like I said, I really just kind of want to make SketchUp fun and do some interesting things, because I don't want to just kind of go over the same stuff over and over and over again. I really want to make this something that people actually enjoy. So thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next video.